Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome back to Quantum of Solace for the PlayStation 2, where I feel like this game is almost like a greatest hits of Quantum of Solace and Casino Royale. Like, it skips over so much of the plot. Like, GoldenEye was, as a video game, not only was it interesting for its multiplayer, not only was it interesting for what it did for first-person shooters and consoles at the time, but it also kind of extrapolated on the plot. It added scenes. It hit pretty much every single scene in the movie. And then it added more stuff in. Whereas in this game, it kind of like, it hits the major scenes, especially for Casino Royale. Like, there is no poker in this version of Casino Royale. It's just cut out entirely. Now, in between the Casino Royale level, where Bond saves Le Chiffre, there's no construction. It goes straight to the barge, which means there's. Hold on, is this the barge where he fights? He has to escape Le Chiffre after being tortured, or is this the house that gets sunk, where Vesper dies? It would make most sense for that scene. But that also means that we've essentially skipped over the villain of Casino Royale directly to the finale of that movie. Which is also interesting because we, as a narrative device, like, consider the idea that Quantum of Solace as a video game begins with a little bit of an introduction and extrapolation of Bond's attack on Mr. White's manor.
Or what's left of him. I've sent a man to deal with the body.
And Le Chiffre?
Back at the table, but off his game. I think Bond can take him. He's won the last two hands.
I'm told he's the best player in the service.
I can attest to it.
After Le Chiffre loses, I want him brought in as quickly as possible. A cornered man is a dangerous one. There's no telling what he'll do.
But if we don't have that mission...
Le Chiffre lost over $100 million of our money. I have a hard time forgetting. Here,
but if we don't have essentially the scene in which...
You mean Bond's won?
Yes, there's a problem. Vesper's been kidnapped. Le Chiffre's taken her. Bond's following Le Chiffre's car now.
Interesting.
They're headed for the coast.
Le Chiffre's been keeping extra men and munitions on an old barge south of Petrovac.
So the game just decides we're just going to rewrite the movie storyline because we don't have time to do everything.
Turn it off!
Accident, Mr. Bond.
We skip over Bond being kidnapped. We skip over Bond quitting the MI6 in order to start a new life with Vesper. And remix the ending so that he saves Vesper from Le Chiffre. Though, to be fair, Casino Royale's ending is kind of odd, especially considering the fact that Le Chiffre isn't even the main villain. The fact that he is this secondary villain... Oh, he just got kidnapped for some reason. That's some interesting trunk-based combat.
I've got the visual.
Alright.
Fire in the hole. Defensive position.
That was a good attempt, but you will not defeat me so easily.
Take him out. Give me support.
How do I...
Give me support.
Okay, that's how I switch shoulders.
Flushing him out. I need suppressing fire.
Is that it?
Open up.
Nope. Huh?
Fire in the hole.
Yep.
Fire! Fire!
Alright. So I guess we're going to end up missing out on some of the more dramatic relationship lines that him and Vesper share. I was thinking about a...
Give me some cover! I need some cover!
There we go. Finally. I was thinking specifically there, like, after Bond recovers in... what's it called? The Casino Royale. Vesper says something to Bond in the vein of, even if there was nothing left but your little finger, I would have still wanted you. And he goes, that's because you know what I could do with my little finger. It's any of the innuendos are always more hilarious in the voice of Sean Connery. Let's pop out here.
I need some help over here!
There we go. That is an effective use of... Nope, not that button. Use of the fire extinguisher. Oh. Okay, I was not expecting that to be that effective. Is he just going to run into the fire? No, he does not. That would have been useful.
Moving! Cover to me!
Yeah. But it's interesting thinking about Casino Royale, specifically because of that. It's a movie that tries to establish who Bond is, but at the same time, it also establishes more of an emotional core. Do I have to... jeez, and I have to hack this thing. Oh no, I'm trapped in here. Okay, this might take a second. Okay, that took far too long. Although, I am like, the quick time events in this game are awful. Am I expected to drop this cargo bin, like, right on top of them? Like, is that why we have that big, sweeping camera shot? Or I guess I'll just go shooting. Bang, bang, Tex.
They're all down! Need support!
Okay. I had a lot less health than I expected. Hopefully a checkpoint came after the hacking minigame and not before the hacking minigame, because then I would bludgeon myself to death with this controller. Oh, thank goodness. That would have been awful. Because if there's anything I've learned from playing this game, and I'll probably talk more about it once it's done, just because it's an interesting novelty item that this game is different from other entries, or different from the bigger budget next-gen versions, doesn't mean it's worth playing. Okay, that was an almost death. Not quite. Also an almost death. Not quite. Son of a... It would be nice if there was a little bit more, more cover in this area. But there's not really that much to really hide behind. Like, because I didn't take out those first couple guys that quickly the second time around, It just enabled them to take a lot more pot shots at me before I was able to hide. But let's say that other enemy had circled around more. Then I would have definitely been screwed. Oh, did that do it? I think that did it. I kind of sort of aimed towards him, and that was good enough for this game, in which case I do not mind.
Get your hands off!
You know, that was actually really dangerous. Like, he could have really blasted himself in the face with steam.
Enemy spotted!
Yeah, that was definitely the way to go.
007, can you find a way to lower that gantry?
That gantry? Oh, okay.
There! Right there!
Oh, and then I'll take cover behind that box, and I will pop up. There we go. Fantastic.
See my sight!
Alright. You know, maybe he should have taken better cover instead of just kind of like sitting there with his head peeking over the barrel. That would have been better off. What I probably need to do is redirect pressure. There's steam blocking that valve.
Target spotted! Cover me!
Oh. You know, with all the problems this ship has in regards to steam, like, there's constantly pipes with steam spraying directly onto valves. Okay, I guess I don't need to mess around over there. And did that clean off? Yep, that stopped the steam on... I have 2 valves to choose from. Use a combination of the 2 valve wheels to shut off the steam. Use the left analog stick to turn the valve wheel. Use the X triangle in order to exit, in order to use the... No. Oh, I'm guessing each valve kind of jumps. What am I trying to accomplish? Okay. So what I need to do is I need to bring this more to the right. And then I need to spin this more to the left. Because this is what you think of when you think of James Bond. Is valve turning puzzle. Late game valve turning puzzles. And I suppose I could actually, that actually leads me to something else about the Bond series. is the new version of Bond never really figured out how to integrate gadgets into the more modern setting. Casino Royale did a good job of balancing out a more modern flair with older style. Like, the poker game is definitely an old style. But then dealing with a banker who essentially uses arms lords' money, arms dealers' money to and gambles with it in order to make more, is, I guess, more of a modern take. But then at the same time, that banker cries blood, which is definitely more of a old-style Bond thing. And, like, you look at Quantum of Solace.
Visual on the target.
Like, Quantum of Solace tried to do the old thing in a fashion.
Need support.
Like, I look at the villain of Quantum of Solace as an attempt to kind of get close to the villain of I guess the villain Goldfinger. Because, like, the thing that makes Goldfinger interesting is that even though he's mad, like, his plot is to take a nuclear bomb and blow up Fort Knox. Like, his plan technically would work. Because, like, the thought is that, the concern in Goldfinger is that he would try to rob Fort Knox. And there's a whole bunch of theories as to how he would do it. Like, how is he going to actually get the gold out of the building? There we go. Alright. Let's switch guns, because shotgun isn't really a very good weapon in this game. But it turns out his plan is to just nuke the interior of Fort Knox, making the gold itself inaccessible, raising the value of his gold. And you look at the villain of Quantum of Solace, and the villain of Quantum of Solace presents himself as somebody who is trying to acquire an oil reserve. Is this a quick time event? No, he's just been kidnapped. So, do we have the same end result as the movie, even though the plot reason for Bond to be here? No, okay, yeah. In the movie, what happens is Le Chiffre attempts to get away, but that was actually a ruse. James' attempt to chase Le Chiffre down ends up with him getting into a car accident.
And I would at least let the girl live.
And then we lead to this torture scene. But yeah, the villain of Quantum of Solace, he presents himself as like an oil investor. But what he's actually trying to do when he's buying off the land with the oil is he's trying to acquire the land where the nation's water is contained. And by controlling the land with the nation's water, he essentially controls the country. So in the movie, Bond has just gotten his nuts smashed in, and then he wakes up in a hospital later. which was an odd turn of events. To be fair, I think the only movie in which Bond is tortured and that actually takes time out of his life in order to recuperate might actually be Die Another Day. Because that movie begins with Bond being captured by North Korea, I think? I will try to shoot out you first. Or you. Do I actually have to use the valves? Because I am getting shot at. There we go. There goes one of them, at least. There we go. Okay. I have to hit the valves in order. Which likely is going to cause this boat to sink.
Hold the area.
There we go. No, don't. For some reason, Bond's aim decided it wanted to track an enemy this time. There we go.
I'm going in. Cover me.
Can I get you a review? Alright. I've gotten rid of him. Now can I get rid of him? There we go. Finally. But, like... And that's the thing with Quantum of Solace, is it's very plot-centric. Casino Royale is a little bit more character-centric, because it's also establishing the character of Bond. Since we never actually see the traditional bullet scene until the end of the movie.
Give me support. Move up.
Huh. I don't know why it thinks I'm able to shoot him. There we go.
I'm out. Cover me.
There we go. Somehow still alive. That's A-okay. Am I standing? No, I'm not. What do I need to shoot in order to get past this fire? There we go. But yeah, like, Casino Royale focuses more on building up James Bond's character at, like, with an emotional core. Damn it, I accidentally hit the reload button. There we go. But with Quantum of Solace, I think the goal of the movie also focuses a lot on establishing Bond as who he becomes. Who's shooting at me, by the way? Probably somebody from the upper floor. Did that defeat him, or did that just stun him? That did kill him. Okay. And no, sir. I never give up. I never let down.
Take him down!
I'm guessing this is a scene where, okay, but it looks like there's supposed to be a specific valve I'm supposed to fix.
Sight open!
There goes that one. There we go. Maybe I should hide from... Okay, maybe I should take cover before I die. Okay. Does he really have to be throwing grenades? Oh, that's a lot of bullets, actually. That is a convenient amount of bullets. Is he done? I think he's done. Fantastic. Oh no! That's a grenade! It's a good thing that fight established the fact that he has grenades.
Are you alright?
Come on, let's get out of here.
Oh, and then they just escape. Okay. So I guess Vesper just dies in between levels. Well, I think that's enough Quantum of Solace for tonight. Got the last level coming up tomorrow. More Assassin's Creed 1 the day after Death Stranding, Monday through Thursday. Got any suggestions for something to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and have yourselves a good night.